Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Starknet All Core Devs call 33. So before this call, we had few discussions on various Telegram channels, and I got some information that the mainnet 0.14.0 deployment has been moved to September 1st. So instead of us being 4 days away, as we discussed last time from the deployment, we are now looking at 18 days. So few rules for the call. Uh, we will be recording this conversation for our archives, and please keep yourselves muted when you are not speaking, and cameras are always welcome. So we are in the final stretch rather than final validation. We are now discussing an extended timeline and understanding what drove to this decision. So let's get into it. So the first thing on our agenda is mainnet 14.0 timeline update, which is September 1st right now. So Leo, this is quite a development. Just before the call, we confirmed that the mainnet is now targeting September 1st instead of August 30th. So I think everyone's first question is what changed, what happened in these 2 weeks that the timeline had to be shifted. So what factors emerged that necessitated pushing this out by another 2 weeks? If you can share some thoughts about this.
So basically, since in the last couple of months, the vast majority of the development was over, with some things that were still open and actively developed upon, in particular some feature related to pre-confirmations. And all along this time, we obviously continued testing and trying different deployments. Now there are 3 sequencers, so there's the whole questions of infra and DevOps and things like that. Basically, it's not that something happened and we needed a push, but basically we agreed that we need more confidence in the reliability and resilience of the system. For example, under stress, that's one. Incident, this is the main reason. And also we thought that having more of the ecosystem switch to 0.9 would be a big win. And giving them more time allows them to do so. So only at the beginning of this week, we released the final RPC 0.9, and Node subsequently released or in the process of releasing. So even to take advantage of the final version, people need to upgrade the nodes and be sure to use the updated SDK, etc., etc. Giving them a couple of weeks to increase the coverage of the ecosystem switch seems like a good thing. I think this is pretty much it. So overall, I am optimistic for the 1st of November. We're getting there, I think.
Okay. And you mentioned in the last call that there are some 15% of legacy transactions that are still being done right now. So did we find any improvement in that, or how are things playing there?
So it's pretty variable. The last time I checked was 2 or 3 days ago, I think, and it was 5% of the transaction were in the old format. So this is still not great, but a reasonable number. I think that the top 50 or something senders are mostly bots. And very hard to track who operates these bots. So on the one hand, it's not good to break bots. On the other, it's not like we're breaking an app with an organic activity of users. Let's say that this would be worse. So we're still working on how to possibly track down / make them switch. But yeah, I think 5% is a good number.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And importantly, how confident do we feel about the September 1st as a firm target?
Um, it's always hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think that it's gonna happen on the first, that we're gonna get there. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, so thank you, Leo. And we can move on to the next point on agenda, which is client team updates. And given this timeline shift, I'm curious how this affects each of the development plans for client teams. So first, we can go with Pathfinder. So Christian, you were working through JSON RPC 0.9 subscription methods and waiting on some specified finalizations. So how does this additional time change your approach, or is there any change at all? And are there any things you can do more thoroughly or features you might be able to include that were previously at risk for the August 18 deadline?
Um, okay, so the final JSON RPC 090 specification was indeed released earlier this week on Monday, I guess. And we did do a release that has full support of this specification, Pathfinder 019. It seems that so so since the release of the spec, we have discovered some oversights in reorg notifications for some kind of subscriptions. So there is still a discussion whether or not this is okay to change after the release of the final spec. Basically, the new transaction and new transaction receipts subscriptions do not send reorg notifications. It is probably simply missing from the spec, but it seems to be an oversight. And neither Pathfinder nor libraries like Starknet RS implement these reorg notification messages. So ultimately, these are all compatible with the spec. Whether or not that's a good thing is still a question. It seems to be a missing feature at this point. So yeah, Pathfinder 019 has been released, and we are still waiting for feedback related to the new JSON RPC spec. We have also started working on upgrading our um, um, validator attestation package to JSON RPC 09 now that support for the new version of the JSON RPC API is getting added to both nodes and libraries like Starknet RS.
Okay. And what about the pre-confirmed data access implementation, which you mentioned in the last call about the subscribe method? Where does that stand right now?
Oh yes, that was pretty much the the only change in the last few weeks in the JSON RPC specification, finding out specifically how you can have access to pre-confirmed data via WebSocket subscriptions.
Okay. And there were some default configurations that I think Leo requested. So
Oh
have they
yes,
been integrated?
yes. All those little changes have been integrated in the new release, um, which is why this has been released as Pathfinder 019, because technically this is a breaking change that the version 080 of the JSON RPC API is now served by default on the root path. Which
Okay.
also there was a discussion about this, whether or not having this default is a good thing or not. It's probably not a good thing, but changing this would be obviously another seriously breaking change for some users. So we have kept it for now, and we probably need to coordinate with our with other node teams how and when we want to get rid of this default route.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Christian. And we can move on to Rodrigo now from Juno team. So Rodrigo, you had 15.1 performing well last time when we talked. And where do you and you were doing some tendermint optimizations. So what does this extra time mean for you, like the development work? And are the performance improvements or reliability enhancements you can now pursue more thoroughly because of this timeline shift? And one more thing, how's the feedback been on the new snapshot system?
Okay, so 0.15.1 doesn't have any major issues. Nonetheless, we will release today 0.15.2, which will have support for RPC09 fully. And yeah, so far no big issues there. There are still some small bugs we're fixing. On the regarding Tendermint is good. We're now right now this part of the progress is lower than usual. There is no new features to talk about. We're just optimizing, seeing how we deal with other things like network partition, avoid it as much as possible, try to be as efficient as possible, which protocols we use, etc. How do we're also trying to take advantage of Malachite consensus tests, see how we can take advantage of them, try to integrate it to ours. Yeah, regarding the snapshot system, I think feedback so far has been good. I think it's quite good for the network. So yeah, nobody. I think nobody is sad about that. So yeah, that's more or less our updates. So wait for a release today, full compliant with 0.4, 0.9 JSON PC.
Okay, perfect. And is there anything else that, like some new feature that you would want to talk about, or that's it?
So far, no new features. We just like internal work, but so far no new features. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Rodrigo. And then we can move to Trantorian. So, Trantorian, in the last call, things were discussed that you were still working towards full RPC 0.9 compliance and dealing with some SNOS implementation challenges. So, what is your strategy for doing this right now? Are you able to resolve the SNOS implementation issues, or what is happening right now? If you can tell me.
Yep. In regards to RPC 0.9 support, we're still working on some of the last methods. We've had some slowdowns in our implementation of the 0.14 sync, as well as the pre-confirmed block database update. Charlotte Choudon is currently working on it right now, but there's still some work to be doing on it. In terms of the mainnet deployment readiness, the pushback of the timeline is going to help us to work on implementing the last methods as well as the 0.14 sync.
Okay. So we can thank you, Antonio. We can move on to the next point on our agenda, which is consensus implementation. And if anyone is here from informal system, I would like to know if Adi will be there to answer it, or someone else has been introduced now, so that everyone in the community knows.
Hey guys, I'm Jarko. I will be representing Informal today. You might have seen that, like, Adi and a part of the team has like spin out and essentially joined Circle. And so Yasmina will be, she I think already attended like last call, if I'm not wrong. So she will be, just like she's off this week, so not able to provide update. So on our side, like the main update is that 05 has been released. So I will just maybe put it here. There's like lead P2P update there. There are like small like bug fixes and minor improvements. We also like in the context of like this, circle change, we like extracted some like interoperability code outside of the Malachite core repo, and now it's part of the Starknet interop repo. It's public, so you should all have access to it. And so there was like, as like Rodrigo mentioned, there was like some call with Juno team where we shared the protobufs and also like the work from the Starknet interop repo. We are there if like anyone needs help. I just want to apologize a bit if we're a bit like a bit slower than usual. We just like are still processing this transition. Hopefully there are more people onboarded and you will not see big difference in the quality of responses at work, but like just like ask for a bit patience and then apologize if there might be a few hiccups short term. Also just I saw that there was like Adi was reporting on a kind of liveness sub-protocol issue. This is something where we have finished and completed design. It has been shared with the Starknet team. It has been, I think, like they're reviewing it. We haven't heard back from them at this point in time. I don't know what exactly that means in terms of like the main net. It's like probably not something we'll be considering. That's at least my feeling for 1st of September. But like, but just want to report at a high level that like design is completed and the design docs have been shared and they are currently at the review. So that's like that's all I sort of like got from the team. Sorry if like something is missing, but like this should be the major changes on our side.
Okay. And would you be able to tell, I mean, it's an open question. If not, it's okay. But would you be help us understand like how is the full stack testing coordination happening right now? Like how are you progressing with other client teams like Pathfinder?
So with Pathfinder, like so our understanding is that like most of integration work has been done. We got like very good feedback from them about like some, let's say, challenges or like where there is room for improvement. We definitely we're trying to address those comments so that like it's simpler for others. With Juno, as we just said, like we started this. To the best of my knowledge, we haven't really started like any integration work like with other teams. I might be wrong here. Sorry if that's the case. So I think like mostly with Pathfinder and then like more recently with Juno, and then again we are around. If like anyone needs help, don't hesitate to reach out. We are more than happy always to jump on a call to explain stuff and like to offer more documentation or examples if needed.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Zako. And for the next point on agenda, we don't have, unfortunately, Shahak here today. So I think we should be skipping P2P network development status. And other than that, I don't think we have anything else on the agenda. So if anyone have any other thoughts or concerns which they would want to raise right now, they can just raise their hands. Okay, so so that's good. So we are taking this. So well, this certainly wasn't the conversation which we were supposed to have about September 1st deadline, which I expected we'll not be having today. But it's good that we are taking the time needed to get this right. So September 1st gives us 18 more days to ensure everything is solid. So our next call will be on August 18th, which will again put us 4 days out from the new September 1st target. So hopefully by then we'll be back to the final readiness and validation mode. So thanks everyone for adapting to this change, and see you again in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.